Have you ever walked out of a meeting and felt like you lost, even though you got exactly what you asked for? You talked, you explained, you justified every point, and somehow you still walked out smaller than when you walked in. The most dangerous person in that room probably said the least. That's not an accident. That's a law. And most people never learn it until it's cost them something. Today, 4 laws. The laws of silent power. The ones the quietest people in any room already know and use on you without you noticing. Boardroom. Negotiation table. First date. Doesn't matter where. Once you see these 4 laws, you can't unsee them. And stick with me until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly how I use this myself. Not from a book, from my own life. It's the part I almost didn't put in this video. Here's how I want you to picture power for the next 10 minutes. It's a poker table. Everyone at that table has a hand. Nobody knows what's in it until someone flips their cards too early. The moment you show your hand, the game is already over. Doesn't matter how good your cards are. The other side adjusts, recalculates, and your edge is gone before you even finish the sentence. Most people flip their cards without even realizing it. Every time they over-explain, overshare, or rush to fill a silence. Keep that table in your head. We're coming back to it. Law 1. The first person to speak after the silence loses leverage. Here's the psychology behind it. Humans are wired to hate silence. It feels like danger, like something's gone wrong. So the instinct is to fix it fast, usually by talking, usually by giving away more than you plan to. Picture a salary negotiation. You state your number once, calmly. Then you stop. The room goes quiet. 5 seconds. 10. 20. It feels unbearable. But the first person who breaks that silence is almost always the one who just talked themselves into a worse deal. I've watched founders do this in front of investors. They quote their valuation. The room goes quiet for a beat too long, and they panic. They start negotiating against themselves before anyone even objects. Nobody asked them to. They did it just to kill the silence. The same thing happens in a pitch meeting, a pricing call, a hard conversation with a partner. Whoever can sit inside the discomfort the longest holds the room. Say less, mean more. It's not a trick, it's just math. The less you give away for free, the more they have to work for. Law 2. Weak people explain, strong people act. Watch who justifies every decision, every price, every no, and watch who just says it once and lets it stand. One of those 2 people runs the room, and it's rarely the one still talking 5 minutes later. Here's what they don't tell you. Every extra sentence of justification is an invitation to argue, to negotiate, to poke holes. Think about the last time you turned down a deal or set a boundary. and then spent the next 5 minutes explaining why. That wasn't politeness. That was an opening. And somewhere in those 5 minutes, they usually find it. I watched a founder get grilled once about a 20% price increase. One competitor in the same room spent 4 minutes defending a smaller number. This founder said 5 words, because the value changed. Nobody argued. There was nothing left to argue with. The best leaders say the least about why. They say what, once, and they move on. That's not arrogance. That's control. Law 3. Never let them see you react. The moment your face gives you away, they know exactly where to push. Anger, excitement, fear. All of it is information. And the second it shows, you've handed it over for free. Powerful people do the opposite. Someone drops a provocation in a meeting, a lowball offer, an insult wrapped in a joke, a number designed to shake you, specifically to see what happens on your face. The whole room clocks it, whether they mean to or not. The one who stays flat, who doesn't flinch, wins that room in that exact second, before a single word gets said in response. I've sat across from partners who tested me exactly like this. A number dropped just to watch my eyes. The ones who stayed calm walked out with better terms every single time. Not because they argued better, but because they gave nothing away to argue against. Your silence is your weapon, not because it hides you, because it makes them do the guessing instead of you. Law 4. Real power stays invisible until it decides to speak. The person who talks in every meeting gets tuned out by the third sentence. But the person who says 3 words after 20 minutes of silence, that gets remembered, quoted back, repeated in the hallway after. This is just scarcity, and it works the same way with words as it does with anything else people value. Rare things get attention. Burn every word you have on small talk, and you've got nothing left in reserve for the moment that actual ally matters. I've watched entire boardrooms lean forward the second the quietest person in the room finally opened their mouth, not because the words were louder, but because everyone had been waiting for them. The room belongs to whoever needs it least, not the loudest person in it, not the funniest, not the fastest talker, the one who doesn't need to be heard to already know they matter. Here's the part that's going to sting a little. You were taught that being agreeable wins rooms. Be nice, be liked, smile first, explain fully, make everyone comfortable. That's the training you got, from school, from your first job, from every performance review that used the word collaborative. And it's exactly why you keep getting overlooked. Being liked and being respected are not the same currency. You can spend your entire life stacking up liked and still walk into every negotiation with 0 leverage, because nobody's ever afraid of losing you. This is where they lose. The people who need to be understood more than they need to win. Every time you over-explain to be liked, you're giving away the one thing that actually earns respect: mystery. This one shift changes everything. Stop asking for permission to be taken seriously. Start acting like the outcome was never really in question. I'll be honest with you about the cost, because nobody else will. This will cost you a few relationships along the way. The ones that only worked because you kept explaining, kept smoothing things over, kept making yourself smaller to be easy to be around. Do it anyway. I'm not telling you to be cold. I'm telling you the warmth you've been handing out for free isn't buying you what you think it's buying you. Here's how I actually live this. Not theory, mine. I have Tourette's. For most of my life, that meant walking into a room already bracing for it. The stare, the question, the person quietly deciding who I was before I'd said a single word. For years, I thought the fix was to explain myself first, get ahead of it, make everyone comfortable so they wouldn't have to ask. It never worked. Explaining just gave people a reason to keep watching, keep waiting for the next tick, the next thing to explain away. What actually changed things wasn't explaining more, it was explaining less, and letting what I did speak instead. Sports gave me that before anything else did. The kind of proof that doesn't need a single word of context. Nobody spends much time questioning someone who simply outworks the room. I didn't earn respect by becoming easier to explain. I earned it the moment I stopped needing to. And that's the version of this I actually trust enough to teach you. So, 4 laws. Let the silence do the talking. Let your reaction stay yours. Let them do the guessing. Stop handing out free explanations to people who haven't earned them. Pay attention, because this is what separates the top 1% from everyone else still explaining themselves in an empty room. If you're done being the person people overlook, the next video shows you exactly how to make sure it never happens again. Subscribe, and I'll see you inside the empire.